Today we are starting our classes after a vacation. So I think you all are energized. So today before starting the class, I'll just give some instructions to you. And then after the instructions, I'll be starting. See students, this is now a permanent reoccurring meeting and you will get your subject IDs and with timetable. So every day you have to click on that ID on the given time. Is it clear to you for the meeting? Every day you will be getting, you will not get the links now. Once only you have got the link for your class, on that time you will click on that ID and you will be joined in this meeting. Next is, you have to start the subject according to your time. This I have already cleared you. Now children, as we are not coming to school and we are taking classes from home and you are attending from home, so please sit in a formal classroom way. Okay, you should sit on a proper chair table and you should keep the camera a little away. Is it clear? You have to be like as if you are in your school classroom. Now, before your class, I want that everybody should take their breakfast and you should not eat during your class. Am I clear? You should not eat during your class because this is a formal classroom. You think it is a formal classroom. Now you can keep a bottle of water and you can ask excuse before you want to drink. Is it clear? Next, wherever you are sitting, your background should not have any noise. Parents should not talk in the background. Is it clear? And whenever you have to answer, you are going to give me a, you will raise your hand. Then one by one I'll answer. And when I'll start my class, first I'll explain my chapter and after explanation, I'll take one-on-one for your queries. Is it clear to everyone? Just give me a thumbs up on the screen only. All my instructions are clear to you? Yes? And see, now we have to study like this. So you all have to be very, very attentive during your classes. Home assignments and everything, very good. I'm getting all thumbs up from Pranav, Parikh and everyone. Okay. So now today what we are going to do, I'm just going to share a screen of your chapter. And please, you people are now grown up. So I don't want anybody to scribble on it. Is it clear? Today I'll be starting a new chapter with you and the chapter is verbs. So it's very important to understand. So please do not scribble when the screen is on. Okay? So just wait, I'm just coming to that. Okay, just a minute. Let it open. Wait a second. One minute. See, you people have started scribbling on the screen. I told you not to scribble, but still you are scribbling. So now I won't allow you to scribble. Is it clear? Wait. Now see students, this is your English grammar chapter. You can see on the screen, lesson 5, the verbs and kinds of verbs. Is it clear to you? Now I'm starting with my revision. What all we have learned before going on verbs, we should know that how verbs are formed. What are verbs? So now I'm just starting. Let's revise. You can see I have written 2 sentences. I can't say this first one is a sentence because there are words, but they are written in jumbled form. Playing is Ram with a ball. Next, Ram is playing with the ball. Now you can see in the first sentence, there are words, but they are not giving any meaning. But when I have arranged these words in a proper way, they are giving some meaning. Ram is playing with a ball. Okay. So now, when I talk about a sentence, what is a sentence? A group of words that make complete sense is called a sentence. Complete sense, or you can say complete meaning. So in this second sentence, you can see that Ram is playing with the ball is giving some meaning to us. Okay. Clear with the definition of a sentence? A group of words that make complete sense is called a sentence. Now, rules of making a sentence. How can you frame a sentence? There are three basic rules. First, the sentence which you are making, it should have complete sense. Second, it begins with a capital letter. Here you can see Ram is starting with a capital letter, but here it is starting with small letter. So this is not possible. Your sentence will always begin with a capital letter. Third is it ends with a full stop. But again now a question arises that all sentences do not end with a full stop. There are exclamation marks also, there are question marks also. So it depends on the kind of sentence. Is it clear to you? Next, I'll come on the next page. Okay. Now, next. Each sentence has two parts. How many parts are there? There are two parts. First is subject and second one is predicate. What is subject and what is predicate in a sentence? Until and unless you will not know, you cannot divide your sentence. So first is, what is subject? The person or thing we speak about is called the subject. Second, predicate. What is said about the subject is called the predicate. For example, I have written, a man helped the blind man. So now you can see a man is your subject because we are speaking about this man. And what he is doing, what are we telling about this subject? That he helped the blind man. So help the blind man is your predicate here. Again, I am making you clear. Subject is the person or thing we speak about, and predicate is what is said about the subject. So here the a man is your subject, help the blind man is your predicate. Now the subject and the predicate may each consist of a single word or a number of words. It can be a single word also and it can be a number of words also. So now clear with subject and predicate. Now what is objects? Objects, what will you say? Words that are added to the verbs to complete their meanings are called object. Is it clear to everyone? Objects are what? Words that are added to the verbs to complete their meanings. Like if I say, what did the man, whom did the man help? So you are getting the answer that the man helped the blind man. Again, I am saying if I put a question, whom did a man help? So the answer is coming the blind man. So the blind man here is your object and help the blind man is your predicate. Please be clear. Okay. Object and predicate, you have to be clear. Now next I am coming. Wait. Now the structure. What is now we will study about the structure of a sentence. So now the subject is usually at the beginning of a sentence. Second, after the subject comes the verb. Objects are placed after the verbs. This way, when you know all these 3 points, you can easily frame a sentence. Now, you know subject, you know predicate, and you know objects also. Now, for example, I have written the sheep are grazing in the field. So, subject here is what? Sheep. Why? Because we are talking about the sheep. Now, what are the actions they are doing? They are grazing. Grazing means eating. So, what are the actions done by the sheep? They are grazing. So, verbs are grazing and Where are they grazing? They are grazing in the field. So in the field is your object. Again clear? First thing is the subject is usually at the beginning of a sentence. After the subject comes the verb. Objects are placed after the verbs. So subject is the sheep, verbs are grazing, and objects are in the field. Now note that subjects and objects are nouns and pronouns. So nouns everybody knows. Nouns are naming words and pronouns are words which are used instead of nouns. So whenever we have to find subjects and objects in a sentence, you should remember that they will be nouns and pronouns. Is it clear? Just give me a thumb up if it is clear to you till here. If it is clear to you, you can give me a thumb up. Pranav, is it clear to you? Good, very good. Okay, coming to next page. Now, after revising sentence, structure of a sentence, we are coming to our main part. And our main part is verbs. What are verbs? Now we can easily define that a verb is a word which says something about a subject. They are also called action words. Again, a verb is a word which says something about a subject. They are also called action word. For example, the man killed a snake. So now, as I told you, that your subject will start, the sentence will start with a subject. So here, the man is a subject. What action he has done? What he is doing? He is killing. So he has killed what? A snake. Is it clear? When I am putting a question, what did the man kill? Your answer is coming, a snake. Snake is a name of an animal or thing. So you can say that it is an object. Again, man is also a noun. So it is a subject. Object, snake is also a noun. So it is object, and subject and object are either nouns or they are pronouns. Again, again I am repeating, a verb is a word which says something about a subject. They are also called action words. Again clear, the man, subject, because who is doing the action here? The man is doing the action here. And what action he is doing? He is killing. So killing is your verb. And what he is killing? He is killing a snake. So it is an object. Now after learning about verbs, we are learning about kinds of verbs. Is it clear? We are learning about kinds of verbs. So now when we start with our kinds of verbs, the first one is transitive verb, which is in your course, transitive verb. Now first I'll define, then I'll explain you. A verb which requires an object after it to complete its sense is called a transitive verb. A verb which requires an object after it to complete its meaning, sense means meaning, is called a transitive verb. For example, I have written, the boy pulled the box. Okay. Now, when you want to find out, the object, you have to put a question, what or whom, to the subject. Okay. What you are going to do? You are going to put a question to the subject, and your subject is here, the boy. Is it clear? Every time, whenever you will find transitive verb in a sentence, you are going to put a question, what or whom, to the subject, and you can easily find object. If you are not finding the answer with what and whom, it means it is not a transitive verb. Now, according to the sentence, when I put a question, what did the boy pull? So I am getting the answer, the box. So it means the word box is called the object to the verb pulled. Is it clear? When I am putting a question to the subject, what did the boy pull? I am getting the answer, the box. So the word box is called what? The object to the verb pulled. Is it clear? Now next, let us move to the next one. Wait. Wait, I think it is fine. Up till here, everybody is clear with it? If just give me a thumb up if you are clear. If you are clear, please give me a thumb up. Wait. Okay. Now the second part of the verb, second kind of the verb, and that is intransitive verb. Okay. First we studied about transitive verb. Now it is intransitive verb. A verb which does not require an object to complete its sense but makes good sense by itself is called an intransitive verb. Again, a verb which does not require an object to complete its sense but makes good sense by itself is called an intransitive verb. Now here you can see I have written an example, birds fly. Okay, birds fly. It means birds are nouns or you can say subjects and they are doing some action. What are they doing? They are flying. So here the verb fly itself is making a complete sense and it is not requiring any object to make a complete sense. So it is called intransitive verb. So students, clear it. Whenever you want to find transitive verb, you are going to put question what or whom and you will get the answer. And in intransitive verb, you do not need any object. Is it clear with everyone? Transitive and intransitive verbs? Now I'm moving to the next one. Okay. Now, next, we have learnt about transitive and intransitive. Now again, there are verbs which tell what they are. Okay. They tell what they are. So example, I am a teacher, we are farmers, it is a rose. So now you can see I have underlined some, I have colored some words am, are and is. So these words am, are and is are telling us that what something or someone is. What something or someone is. So they are called verbs. Okay, they are called verbs. They are telling something, or you can say they are being verbs like am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. Okay, these words are called being verbs. Okay, like he is saying what they are. So this is only being verbs. Now, have, has, have, and had. These are the verbs which show possessions. Okay, these has, have, and had are verbs which show possession, belonging. Like if I say I have a pen, I had a pet. So I am having something that is belonging to me. So that is called possession. Is it clear? Verbs also tell us what people are saying, thinking, and feeling. Okay. Verbs also tell us what people are saying, thinking, and feeling. So such verbs are called saying verbs. Whenever action is done, they are called action verbs, and whenever you are saying, then they are called saying verbs. So again, I am making it clear. Verbs also tell us what they are, like I am a teacher. So it's like being. We are farmers. It is a rose. So these words are what? Being verbs. Has, have and had are verbs which show possession. Okay, possessiveness. Okay, that this is mine, this belongs to me, I have a pen, I had a pet. All these words, when you are using has, have and had, they are showing possessive form. Verbs which say or think or feel, they are called saying verbs. Example, I think this is a good idea. I think this is a good idea. This picture looks very nice. Okay, this